The gentle rhythm of water against the hull of our little boat was like a lullaby, broken now and then by a fish leaping for flies. Deep breaths of crisp Adirondack air filled my lungs as the sunrise painted the peaks in shades of fire. This annual fishing trip with Mark wasn't just a tradition. It was my sanctuary, a brief escape from the city grind. "Gonna doze all day or actually try catching something?" Mark's voice, always a bit rough, snapped me back. I chuckled, reaching for my rod, soaking in the peace. Lisa always said I came back from these trips a different man. Mark just rolled his eyes, but a ghost of a smile flickered across his face. Yeah, you and Lisa, picture perfect. Not everyone's so lucky," he grumbled, his usual sarcasm barely masking a real sting. I felt a twinge of guilt, thinking of Mark's recent split. "Hey man, really sorry about you and Jessica. How you holding up?" I asked. Mark shrugged, fiddling with his hook. "It is what it is. Can't make someone stay if they're itching to go, right?" he said, not meeting my eyes. I nodded, casting my line into the glassy water, a wave of calm washing over me. We fell into that comfortable silence, the cast and reel a familiar, soothing ritual, years of friendship etched into every movement. The morning drifted by, a tapestry of shared stories and laughter echoing across the lake. "Remember that time in high school, trying to ask Tiffany Jenkins to prom?" Mark choked out, his eyes crinkling with mischief. I groaned, my cheeks burning even after all this time. "Don't remind me." Tripped over my own feet, landed flat on my face right in front of her. "Yeah, and mumbled something about admiring the floor, just stayed there," Mark roared, nearly dropping his rod. "Yeah, I remember," I muttered. "Laugh. At least I wasn't stag like some people I know," I shot back, feigning offense. Mark clutched his chest dramatically. "Hey, I had a blast alone, thank you very much. No drama, no expectations, just me and a bowl of punch." The laughter faded, replaced by a peaceful quiet. Sunlight danced on the water, filling me with a deep sense of contentment. "You know, Mark, I'm really glad we still do this, with work, family, everything. Just getting away, being here together," I said warmly. Mark nodded, a hint of warmth softening his features. "Yeah, me too, man. But all this perfect life with Lisa talk kinda makes me feel like a third wheel on our own trip," he said. I laughed, shaking my head. "Come on, she's not perfect. We have our moments, trust me." Mark raised an eyebrow, a playful challenge in his eyes. "Oh really? Name one thing that's not sunshine and roses in paradise." I thought for a beat, my mind racing. "She leaves her hair in the shower drain. Drives me nuts," I confessed. Mark stared for a second, then burst into laughter. "Hair in the drain? That's it? You make it too easy, dude," he wheezed. I shrugged, a warmth spreading through me as Lisa's face flashed in my mind. "What can I say? I hit the jackpot," I replied. Throughout the day, we drifted between reminiscing about the past and sketching out our future dreams. Mark talked about expanding his auto shop, and I shared my ideas for custom furniture designs. "You know, Chris," Mark said, cracking open a beer as the sun began to dip, "I give you crap about your perfect life, but honestly, I'm happy for you, man. For real." I smiled, touched by his sincerity. "Thanks, friend. And don't sweat it. You'll find someone too. Jessica wasn't the one, but the right person is out there," I said. Mark nodded, taking a long pull of his beer. "Yeah, maybe. For now, I'm just focusing on me. No drama, no complications," he replied. We settled back into our quiet bubble. Little did I know, complications were already circling, unseen. The calm surface of the lake was a deceptive mask, hiding the storm gathering on the horizon, ready to shatter everything I held dear. Mark and I leaned back in our camp chairs by the fire, the silence punctuated only by the crackling flames. The day's fishing had been a success, our cooler packed with trout, promising a feast when we got back to the city. Home. The thought itself brought a smile. As much as I cherished these escapes with Mark, a part of me always ached to get back to Lisa, to the life we'd built together. Suddenly, the buzz of my phone ripped through the evening quiet. I pulled it out, frowning at the unfamiliar number. "Something up?" Mark asked, noticing my expression. I glanced at my phone. Text, from Mrs. Henderson, our neighbor. I frowned, reading the message. She said she had something important to tell me. I quickly typed back, asking what was going on. The reply came almost instantly, and a cold knot tightened in my stomach as I read. "Chris?" Mark's voice sounded distant. "What's wrong, man? You look like you've seen a ghost." I took a shaky breath, trying to process what I'd just read. "Probably nothing. Mrs. Henderson says she's seen a black car parked outside our place a few times lately, and some guy she doesn't recognize came by when I wasn't home," I said. Mark let out a low whistle. "Well, that's something. What do you think it means?" he asked. I shook my head, trying to shake off the creeping anxiety. "Probably nothing. Maybe it's a new client of Lisa's or someone from work. Or maybe," Mark said, a dark humor creeping into his voice, "Lisa's got a secret admirer tucked away." The words hit me like a punch to the gut. I knew he was just joking, his usual dark humor amplified by the beers, but the seed of doubt was planted. I forced a laugh, trying to keep it light. "Right, 'cause every guy wants to come home and find his wife with the hot dog vendor," I quipped. "You never know." Mark shrugged, his words a little slurred now. "It's always the ones you least expect, right? The perfect couples, the ones everyone envies." Something snapped inside me. I stood up abruptly, almost knocking over my chair. "I need to take a walk. Clear my head," I said, my voice sharper than intended. Mark looked up, his playful expression shifting to concern. "Hey, man, I was just kidding around. You know Lisa would never—" I cut him off, my tone rougher now. "I know, I just need some air," I snapped. I walked away into the shadows, the beam of my flashlight cutting through the darkness along the shoreline. The earlier peace of the evening was gone, replaced by a gnawing anxiety that I couldn't shake. Lisa would never betray me. I told myself, clinging to the belief with every fiber of my being. We had a good life, a strong marriage. She loved me as much as I loved her, but the doubts, once planted, took root and twisted, refusing to be ignored. I lost track of time as I walked, endless possibilities, each more disturbing than the last, flashing through my mind. By the time I stumbled back to the campsite, I'd almost convinced myself I was being ridiculous. There had to be an innocent explanation for Mrs. Henderson's message. Mark was still up, tending the dying fire. He looked up as I approached, his face a mix of guilt and concern. "Look, Chris, I'm really sorry about what I said earlier. I crossed a line," he said. I waved off his apology, sinking back into my chair. "It's okay, Mark. You were just kidding," I said. He shook his head. "Still shouldn't have said it." "I know how much Lisa means to you," Mark said. I nodded, staring into the embers. I think we should head back early. Just to check things out, you know?" I said. Mark was quiet for a moment before agreeing. "Yeah, sure. If that's what you want, we can pack up in the morning," he replied. I appreciated his support, a mix of relief and dread settling over me. "I'm sure it's nothing, but—" I started, and Mark finished for me. "But you need to know for sure. I get it, man. And don't worry, I got your back, no matter what." As we settled into our sleeping bags, I lay awake, Mrs. Henderson's words and Mark's careless joke echoing in my mind. I kept telling myself I was overreacting, that I'd laugh about this whole thing when I got home and saw Lisa. And yet, as sleep finally pulled me under, a nagging voice whispered that nothing would ever be the same. The first hint of dawn was just painting the sky when Mark and I started breaking down camp, working in near silence. The usual, easy banter of our trips was replaced by a tense anticipation that hung heavy in the air. As I rolled up my sleeping bag, wild scenarios flashed through my mind. I tried to focus on the task at hand, but my thoughts kept circling back to Lisa, the black car, the stranger Mrs. Henderson had seen. "Ready to hit the road?" Mark's voice startled me. I looked up, saw him standing by the truck, keys in hand. I nodded, slinging my backpack over my shoulder. "Yeah, let's go," I said. The drive back was nothing like our usual trips. No reminiscing, no planning future adventures, just a heavy silence filling the cab. I stared out the window at the passing landscape, my stomach twisting with anxiety. After an hour or so, Mark broke the silence. "So, you want to talk about it?" he asked. I turned to him, raising an eyebrow. "About what?" He shrugged, eyes fixed on the road. "You know, the reason we're cutting this short. Mystery visitor. Lisa." A wave of irritation washed over me. "There's nothing to discuss. We'll get home, see what's going on. That's it," I said. My voice clipped. Mark nodded, but I sensed a hesitation in his tone. "And you're not worried about what we might find when we get there?" he asked. "Of course I'm worried," I snapped, my control fraying. "What am I supposed to think? My neighbor tells me some stranger's been hanging around my house while I'm gone, and my best friend jokes about my wife cheating. Hard to find inner peace in that situation," I said, the sarcasm dripping from my words. Mark winced. "I'm really sorry this happened, Chris. I was out of line, drunk, not thinking." Mark apologized. I sighed. "I get it, Mark. I know it's not about you." But inside, the doubt was festering, growing stronger with every mile. "Lisa and I, we have something solid. The thought of her, it's just too much," I admitted, the words raw and vulnerable. "Hey, we're jumping to conclusions here," Mark said, his voice softening. "For all we know, it's a big misunderstanding. Maybe she's planning a surprise party or something," he suggested. I laughed, a hollow, humorless sound. "Right, because that's way more likely than my wife being unfaithful," I retorted. "Listen, Chris," Mark said, gripping the steering wheel tighter. "I know things look bad right now, but don't rush to judgment. You and Lisa have something good. Don't throw it away over some vague suspicions." His attempt to calm me only fueled the anger simmering inside. "So what? I should just ignore it? Pretend everything's fine?" I challenged. "That's not what I'm saying," Mark countered. "I'm saying talk to Lisa before you blow everything up. Hear her side of the story," Mark urged. I rolled my eyes. "Right, like if she's cheating, she's just going to confess if I ask her nicely," I said sarcastically. Mark gave me a worried look. "That's not like you, Chris. What happened to the guy who always saw the best in people? The one who trusted his wife?" Mark asked, puzzled. His words hit home, and a wave of shame washed over me. He was right. This wasn't me. Fear and doubt had twisted my thinking, clouding my judgment. I don't know, I admitted quietly. I'm not sure who I am right now. We lapsed back into silence, the miles ticking by as the sun climbed higher, my mind a whirlwind of worst-case scenarios. As we neared the city limits, Mark broke the silence again. "So, what's the plan?" he asked. "You want me to come in with you?" Mark offered. I hesitated. Part of me wanted to face this alone, talk to Lisa privately if there was anything to talk about. But the other part, the anxious, insecure part, craved Mark's presence. "Okay," I finally said. "Yeah, I think I'd like you to come with me, just in case," I added, the unspoken fear hanging heavy in the air. Mark nodded, his face grim. "Fine. Whatever happens, we'll get through it together," he said. As we turned onto my street, my heart started hammering against my ribs. Every house we passed brought us closer to a moment that could shatter everything I thought I knew about my life. "There," I said, pointing. "That black car. Never seen it before." Sure enough, a sleek black sedan was parked a few doors down from my house. It could have been anyone's car, parked there for any reason, but in that moment, it felt like an omen. Mark pulled up in front of my house and cut the engine. An eternity of silence stretched between us as we stared at the once familiar facade that now seemed foreign and threatening. "Ready for this?" Mark asked, his voice low and serious. I took a deep breath, bracing myself for the unknown. "Let's go," I said, my voice firm, masking the tremor of fear inside. I had to know the truth. As we climbed out of the truck and walked towards the house, I felt like I was moving through a dream. I knew, with a chilling certainty, that whatever was about to happen would change my life forever. The calm was over. The storm was here. My heart pounded in my chest as I fumbled with the spare key, jamming it into the lock. Mark stood close behind me, his presence both grounding and unsettling. The house was eerily quiet as we stepped inside, our footsteps muffled by the thick rug. "Lisa?" I called out, my voice too loud in the silence. No answer. Mark nudged me, gesturing towards the living room, where a sliver of light peeked through the slightly ajar door. As we approached, a soft murmur reached us, then the unmistakable sound of a kiss. A cold wave washed over me. This couldn't be real. It had to be a mistake, some twisted misunderstanding. But as I pushed the door open wider, the scene that unfolded before me ripped away any last shred of hope. Lisa was there, on our couch, wrapped in the arms of a stranger. They were so lost in their embrace they didn't even notice us at first. I froze, my mind blank, unable to process the reality. Mark, however, reacted instantly. He pulled out his phone, hitting record with a grim, determined look. A slight movement finally caught Lisa's eye. She looked up, her expression shifting from passion to shock, then to utter horror. "Chris!" she gasped, shoving the man away, frantically trying to straighten her clothes. "Oh God, Chris!" Lisa cried. The man turned, his eyes widening as he registered our presence. He was older than I'd imagined, maybe 40, salt and pepper hair, expensive watch glinting on his wrist. "Who the hell are you?" I growled, the words finally breaking through the shock. The man stood up, smoothing his rumpled shirt. "I'm Bradley Turner. Believe me, it's not what it looks like," he stammered. A bitter laugh escaped me. "Really? 'Cause it looks a whole lot like you're having an affair with my wife right here in my living room," I said, my voice laced with sarcasm. Lisa was in tears, mascara streaking down her face. "Chris, Please, just listen to me, Lisa pleaded. Listen to what, Lisa? I snapped, my shock morphing into a white-hot rage. From where I'm standing, it's pretty damn obvious. I spat through clenched teeth. Bradley took a step forward, hands raised in a placating gesture. Let's just calm down and talk about this like adults, he said smoothly. That was a mistake. 2 strides and I was across the room, grabbing him by the collar, slamming him against the wall. Talk about what? How you've been sneaking around with my wife? How you decided you could waltz into my house? I snarled, my voice low and dangerous. Chris, stop it! Lisa shrieked, grabbing my arm. Please, you're hurting him! Lisa screamed. I released Bradley, turning to Lisa. The woman I loved, the woman I thought I knew, was suddenly a stranger. What about the fact that you're hurting me, Lisa? Did you think about that when you let this guy into our bed? I demanded. It wasn't like that. It just happened. I didn't mean to, Lisa stammered. Didn't mean to what? Get caught? I interrupted, my voice rising. How long has this been going on, Lisa? How long have you been lying to my face? I demanded. Before she could answer, a loud thud echoed behind me. We all turned to see Mark's phone lying on the floor, the recording abruptly cut off. Bradley's eyes widened in alarm. You recorded us? You can't do that. I'll sue you for invasion of privacy, he sputtered. Mark let out a scornful laugh. Good luck with that, buddy. I'm pretty sure breaking and entering trumps any privacy concerns, Mark said. Breaking and entering? Bradley stammered. It wasn't me who made the invitation. This is my house, and you're trespassing. I growled. Lisa stepped towards me, her tear-streaked face pleading. Chris, please, can we just talk about this in private? She begged. I looked at her, at the woman who had once been my everything, and felt nothing but cold, hard anger. There's nothing to talk about here, Lisa. You made your choice. Now you deal with the consequences, I said, my voice flat. I turned to Mark. Help me escort this unwanted guest out of my home, I said. Together, we grabbed Bradley, who started protesting loudly. You can't do this! I have rights! Lisa, help me! He yelled. But Lisa just stood there, wide-eyed and weeping, watching as we dragged her lover towards the front door and unceremoniously shoved him out onto the porch. If I ever see you near my house, or my wife, again, I growled, you'll regret the day you were born, understand? Bradley nodded frantically, scrambling to his feet, and bolted towards his car. As he sped away, I turned back towards the house, ready to confront the wreckage of my marriage. The front door slammed shut behind me, echoing through the house as I stepped back inside, Mark right behind me. Lisa stood in the living room, arms wrapped around herself, looking small and fragile. For a fleeting moment, a flicker of something like sympathy stirred within me. Chris, please, she began, her voice trembling. I know you're angry, but if you just let me. She trailed off, her voice choked with sobs. Let you what, Lisa? I interrupted, my voice cutting through the air, making her flinch. You lied to me. You made me a fool, I said. Lisa shook her head frantically. It's not what you think. Bradley, he understands me in a way you can't, she blurted out. I finished her thought with a harsh, bitter laugh. So that's your excuse? That I don't understand you? I sneered. Lisa's gaze darted to Mark, who stood silently by the doorway. Do we really have to do this with him here? She asked, her voice strained. Yes, absolutely, I replied sharply. Mark is my best friend. He's shown me more loyalty in the last few hours than you have in our entire marriage, I said. Mark shifted uncomfortably. Maybe I should just go, give you guys some space, he offered. No, I said firmly. You stay. I need a witness, I added, the word hanging heavy in the air. Lisa's face crumpled. Witness? Chris, what are you talking about? She whispered. I took a step closer to her, my voice low and menacing. It's over, Lisa. We're done. I want you out of this house by tonight, I said quietly. Her eyes widened in disbelief. Leave? But where am I supposed to go? She stammered. I don't know, and frankly, I don't care, I answered coldly. Maybe your boyfriend Bradley has a spare room, or maybe you can crash with one of your friends, the ones you've probably been lying to about us for months. It just started a few weeks ago, I swear, Chris. I never wanted this to happen. It was a mistake, Lisa pleaded. I laughed, a short, humorless sound. A mistake? Lisa, forgetting to buy milk at the store is a mistake. This was a choice, a decision you made every time you let him touch you, every time you lied to me, I said, my voice rising with each word. She reached out, trying to take my hand, but I recoiled as if her touch would burn me. Please, Chris, I love you, she whispered, tears streaming down her face. We can get through this. We can see a counselor, work on rebuilding trust. Please don't throw away everything we've built, she begged, her voice breaking. For a fleeting moment, I was almost swayed by the raw pain in her eyes, the desperation in her voice. It was the Lisa I loved, the woman I'd built my life around. But then the image of her on the couch with Bradley flashed in my mind, and my resolve hardened. There's nothing left, Lisa, I said, my voice cold and unwavering. You threw it all away the moment you decided to betray me, I said. Mark cleared his throat. Chris, what about the video? He asked, his voice hesitant. Lisa's head snapped up. Video? What video? She asked, confusion clouding her tear-filled eyes. I managed a cold, mirthless smile. Oh, didn't I mention? Mark recorded your little rendezvous with Bradley. So, if you were thinking about trying to take me to the cleaners in the divorce, you might want to reconsider, I said sarcastically. The color drained from Lisa's face. You wouldn't do that, Chris. Please, think about what this could mean for my career, my reputation, she said, her voice laced with panic. You should have thought about that before you brought another man into our house, I snapped. Now pack your things and get out. You have 1 hour, I added, my voice leaving no room for argument. Lisa froze, tears streaming down her cheeks. Chris, she started, but I cut her off. I don't want to hear any more excuses or apologies. Just go, I said. As she fled the room, sobbing, an unexpected calm settled over me. The anger still raged, fierce and raw, but underneath, a steely resolve had taken hold. Lisa had betrayed me, shattered the life we'd built. Now, it was my turn to break back. I glanced at Mark, who was watching me with a mixture of concern and something akin to admiration. You still got that video? I asked. He nodded, holding up his phone. Yeah, man. What do you want to do with it? He asked. A slow, predatory smile spread across my face. I want to make them pay, Mark, both of them. I want them to regret ever crossing me, I said, my voice low and dangerous. Mark's eyes widened slightly, but he nodded in agreement. Okay, man. Whatever you need, I'm in, Mark said. As we stood there, contemplating our next move, we heard Lisa upstairs, packing. The sounds of her sobs drifted down, but I felt nothing. The Lisa I'd cherished was gone, replaced by a stranger who had inflicted the deepest betrayal. I was determined to make her answer for it. The front door slammed shut, the sound echoing with finality through the empty house. Lisa was gone, a suitcase clutched in her hand, leaving behind only the wreckage of our marriage. I stood in the living room, rooted to the spot where I'd found her and Bradley, a strange mix of numbness and fury churning inside me. Mark stepped closer, placing a hand on my shoulder. "You okay, man?" he asked. I shook my head, unable to speak. The events of the last few hours replayed in my mind, fueling the simmering rage. "What do you want to do now?" Mark asked, his voice serious. I turned to meet his gaze, my jaw clenched tight. "Now," I said, my voice low and dangerous. "Now we make them pay." Mark nodded, his expression grim. "Fine. But how?" he asked. I walked over to the liquor cabinet, pulling out a bottle of whiskey and 2 glasses. As I poured, I began to outline my plan. "First things first, protect the video. That's our leverage," I said. "Already done," Mark replied, holding up his phone. "Saved it to the cloud, emailed myself a copy. They can't erase it now," he said. I handed him a glass, raising mine in a grim toast. "Okay, to us." "Next, we dig into Bradley," I said. Mark took a sip of whiskey, wincing slightly. "I can do some digging online, social media, LinkedIn, the works," he offered. "Good," I replied. "Tomorrow I'll call Sarah, my sister. She's a lawyer. She can advise us on the divorce, our legal options," I said. Over the next hour, we fleshed out our plan, the whiskey bottle emptying steadily as we plotted our counterattack. When Mark finally left, promising to return in the morning with whatever dirt he could dig up, a cold sense of determination had replaced the initial shock and betrayal. As soon as the door closed behind him, my phone buzzed. A text from Lisa. "Chris, please, can we talk? I'm so sorry. I love you." I stared at the message for a long moment, my thumb hovering over the reply button. Finally, with a decisive swipe, I deleted it and blocked her number. Back in the living room, my eyes fell on our wedding photo on the mantelpiece. Lisa's smiling face gazed back at me, frozen in a moment of joy that now felt like a cruel lie. Fury surged through me. I grabbed the frame and hurled it across the room, the satisfying crash of glass shattering against the wall echoing through the silence. Standing amidst the shards of glass and the remnants of my broken marriage, I made a vow. Lisa and Bradley thought they could play me for a fool, wreck my life, and walk away without consequences. They were about to learn just how wrong they were. I pulled out my phone and dialed Sarah's number. It was late, but I knew she'd answer. As the phone rang, I braced myself for the conversation ahead. This was just the beginning. By the time I was done, Lisa and Bradley would wish they'd never crossed my path. The line connected, and Sarah's voice filled my ear. "Chris, what's going on?" she asked, concern laced in her tone. I took a deep breath, forcing my voice to remain calm, icy. "Sarah, I need your help. Lisa cheated on me, and I'm going to make her regret it," I said. A beat of silence hung in the air before Sarah's voice, sharp and decisive, cut through the quiet. "Tell me everything." As I began to recount the night's events, a cold, exhilarating determination filled me. The storm had arrived, and it was time to unleash chaos. Lisa and Bradley had no idea what was coming, but they were about to find out, and I would show them no mercy. Morning sun streamed through the blinds, casting long shadows across my home office. I sat at my desk, staring at the computer screen, fingers poised over the keyboard. Beside me, Mark nursed a steaming mug of coffee, his eyes bloodshot from a night spent in the digital trenches. I broke the tense silence. "So, what have we got?" I asked. Mark set down his mug, leaning closer. "Bradley Turner, 45, head of marketing at Pinnacle Strategies, married to Jennifer Turner for 15 years, no kids, lives in Oakwood, fancy neighborhood," Mark rattled off. I nodded, absorbing the information. "Good work. Anything else?" I asked. "Managed to, access Lisa's social media," Mark said, a hint of grim satisfaction in his voice. My jaw clenched. "Show me," I said. Mark swiveled the laptop towards me, and a fresh wave of rage surged as I scrolled through the messages. Explicit texts, intimate photos, Lisa and Bradley. Judging by the timestamps, their little affair had been going on for months, not weeks, like Lisa claimed. "Liar," I muttered, my fists clenching. "What's the plan?" Mark asked, his voice cautious. I leaned back in my chair, a cold smile playing on my lips. "We're going to reveal the truth. To everyone," I said. Mark's eyes widened. "Everyone? You sure about that, Chris? Once it's out there, there's no going back," Mark warned. I nodded, a grim certainty hardening my resolve. "Exactly. I want the whole world to see what they did," I said. "Their families, friends, colleagues, everyone they know." I turned back to the computer, starting to set up an anonymous social media account. As I worked, I outlined my plan to Mark. "We'll make a post, all the evidence, texts, photos, the works. We'll tag Lisa and Bradley, their spouses, their workplaces, post it in local community groups. By the time we're done, everyone in the city will know about their little affair," I said. Mark let out a low whistle. "It's brutal, Chris. But considering what they did to you, they kinda deserve it," Mark said. I nodded, my face grim. "Absolutely. Now, let's get this organized. We need to make sure it's untraceable back to us," I said. We spent the next few hours meticulously gathering evidence, crafting the message. As I typed, a dark sense of satisfaction grew with each word. Every sentence was a dagger, every image a blow aimed at those who had wronged me. Finally, I leaned back, my finger hovering over the publish button. "That's it. Once I hit this, there's no turning back," I said. Mark placed a hand on my shoulder. "You sure about this, Chris?" he asked again, his voice softer this time. I met his gaze, my expression unwavering. Never been more sure of anything in my life. Without another thought, I pressed the button. The post went live, hitting the digital world like a shockwave. Within seconds, notifications, comments, messages flooded my inbox, a tidal wave of shock and outrage. "It's done," I said, a sense of grim relief washing over me. "Now we wait," I said. Mark nodded, his face a mixture of admiration and concern. "What's next?" he asked. I stood up, stretching my tense muscles. "Now, we watch their world crumble," I replied simply. "Believe me, Mark, this is just the beginning." As we left the office, a dark satisfaction settled over me. Revenge. Lisa and Bradley thought they could play with fire without getting burned. They were about to learn how wrong they truly were. A week had passed since the post went viral, and the fallout was even more devastating than I'd anticipated. I stood across the street from Lisa's office building, watching as she emerged, head down, shoulders slumped. The confident stride she once possessed was gone, replaced by a hesitant uncertainty. Her eyes darted nervously, as if expecting an ambush from every direction. As she hurried towards her car, I caught snippets of hushed whispers, saw her former colleagues pointing and staring. "Mr. Lawson?" A voice behind me startled me. Detective Evans, the local investigator who'd intervened when Bradley made threats. I nodded, keeping my face neutral. "Detective, what can I do for you?" I asked. Evans glanced at Lisa, then back at me. "Just wanted to give you an update on Mr. Turner. He's been officially warned about making threats against you. Any further incidents, we can take more serious action," he said. I offered a cold smile. "Thank you, Detective. Appreciate your help," I said. As Evans walked away, my gaze returned to Lisa. She sat in her car, head in her hands. For a fleeting moment, a flicker of something, not pity, but a recognition of the chaos I'd unleashed, stirred within me. Then, the image of her face when I'd found her with Bradley flashed in my mind, and all sympathy vanished. My phone buzzed. A text from Mark. "Bradley's wife just filed for divorce. It's all over the local news." A grin tugged at my lips. I quickly typed back. "Nice. How's Bradley holding up?" The reply came almost instantly. "Not good. Got fired yesterday. Apparently, his company has a strict morality clause," Mark wrote. As I read the message, I noticed a familiar figure striding towards Lisa's car. Bradley, looking disheveled and furious. I moved closer, staying in the shadows, just close enough to hear. "Lisa!" Bradley bellowed, his voice hoarse. "We need to talk." Lisa got out of the car, desperation etched on her face. "What's there to talk about, Bradley?" Lisa asked, her voice weary. "It's over. We're both ruined. All because of your husband. If he hadn't—" Bradley started, but Lisa cut him off, her voice suddenly sharp. "If he hadn't what, Bradley?" Lisa snapped. "Caught us? Exposed our deception? We did this to ourselves, Bradley. We destroyed our own lives." She screamed, her voice cracking. I saw rage contort Bradley's face. "No, I won't accept this. There has to be a way out." "We can sue him for defamation," he insisted. Lisa let out a bitter laugh. "Sue him for what, Bradley? Reality? Haven't you noticed? We're both unemployed now, and even if we had money, everything he said is true," she said, her voice flat, defeated. "We're powerless, Bradley," Lisa concluded. Bradley's shoulders slumped, all fight draining out of him. "So, that's it? We just give up?" Bradley asked, his voice barely a whisper. Lisa shook her head, tears streaming down her cheeks. "Our old life is gone, Bradley. We have to figure out how to move on," she said quietly. Watching them, a wave of cold satisfaction washed over me. This was exactly what I'd wanted. Their lives in ruins, just like mine had been when I'd discovered their betrayal. My phone buzzed again. Sarah. "Just finished meeting with Lisa's lawyer. She's not contesting the divorce. You'll get everything." I couldn't help but smile, a surge of triumph coursing through me. Lisa and Bradley had gambled with my life, and they'd lost everything. And I felt no remorse. As I turned to walk away, my eyes met Lisa's across the parking lot. For a fleeting moment, we locked gazes. I saw hurt, regret, a silent plea for forgiveness in her eyes. But my heart remained cold, hard, untouched. I turned away from Lisa and Bradley, leaving them to pick through the wreckage of their lives. They'd made their choices. Now they had to live with the consequences. As for me, I was ready to rebuild, stronger, wiser. The tide had turned, and I was ready for a fresh start. The lake stretched out before me, a shimmering mirror reflecting the vast New York sky. I sat in a small fishing boat, rod in hand, enjoying the quiet solitude. It had been a month since the divorce finalized. A month dedicated to healing, to rediscovering myself. The sound of an approaching boat broke the silence. I looked up, saw Mark steering his boat towards me. "Catch anything yet?" he shouted, slowing down alongside me. I shook my head, a small smile playing on my lips. "Nope," I answered. "But that's not really the point, is it?" Mark chuckled, settling into his chair. "Fair enough," I said. "What's up, man?" Mark asked. I cast my line again, considering his question. "You know what? I'm doing good. Actually, better than good," I replied. Mark raised an eyebrow. "Really? No regrets about how things played out?" he asked. I met his gaze, my expression firm. "None. They made their choices. I made mine," I answered. We settled into a comfortable silence, the only sound the gentle lapping of water against the boats. After a while, Mark broke the quiet again. "Heard anything about Lisa?" he asked. I shook my head. "Nope. Last I heard, she moved out of state. Guess she's looking for a fresh start," I said. "What about Bradley?" Mark asked. A cold smile flickered across my face. "His wife cleaned him out in the divorce. Heard he's selling timeshares now," I said, a hint of dark amusement in my voice. Mark let out a low whistle. "Damn, Chris, you really taught them a lesson, didn't you?" Mark asked quietly. I shrugged, reeling in my line. "They messed with me first. I just returned the favor," I said. As the sun dipped below the horizon, painting the sky in fiery hues, Mark and I started packing up. "You know, Chris," Mark said as we got ready to head back, "I gotta admit, I was a little worried about you. Thought you might do something you'd regret." I paused, looking out at the tranquil water. "I appreciate the concern, Mark, but I was in control, every step of the way," I said. Mark nodded slowly. "Yeah, I see that now. So, what's next for Chris Miller?" Mark asked, grinning. I smiled back, a genuine smile, a feeling of lightness I hadn't felt in ages bubbling up inside me. Who knows? The future's wide open. For the first time in a long time, I feel free. Like I can do anything, be anyone I want, I said, excitement sparking within me. As we steered our boats back towards the dock, a deep sense of satisfaction settled over me. The storm had passed, and I'd emerged stronger, more resilient. Lisa and Bradley were just faded pages in my past, their betrayal a distant memory. The future stretched before me, brimming with possibilities, and I was ready to seize it, on my own terms. Back on shore, loading our gear into the trucks, Mark clapped me on the shoulder. "You're a tough son of a bitch, Chris. Glad I'm on your good side," he said, laughing. I chuckled, the laughter genuine, unrestrained. "Just don't sleep with my wife, and we're good," I quipped. We exchanged grins, the dark humor a testament to how far I'd come. As I climbed into my truck, I glanced back at the lake one last time. It held countless memories, both good and bad. "See you next weekend?" Mark shouted. I nodded, starting the engine. "Wouldn't miss it for the world," I replied. Driving home, a sense of closure washed over me. The Lisa chapter was finally closed, and I wasn't sad. I was looking forward to the next chapter. One thing was clear. I was no longer anyone's fool. From now on, I was writing my own story, and anyone who dared to cross me would soon learn that Chris Miller was not a man to be underestimated. The road ahead was open, and I was excited to see where it would lead.